We're going to be talking about pertaining issue and trending issue. We also have some interesting headlines taking place in the course of the week. Quite interestingly, we've got the Lioness herself today with us. Lioness, how are you and welcome to the show? Lioness, can you hear me? Okay, let me go to Eugene. Welcome to the show, Eugene. How are you, sir?
I'm well, Sergeant. How are you too?
Not too bad, not too bad. How was your day?
My day was splendid.
Great stuff. Queen Deborah, can you hear me? Okay, try and get Queen Deborah to be interacting with us. But in the interim, please, today's show will be actually...
I can hear you.
You can hear me now. So let me go and then welcome our Lioness, Queen Deborah herself.
Yeah.
Welcome to the show.
How are you, Oganana? Are you okay?
Well, I'm still waiting for my Igbe hat.
Which Igwe is that? Igwe.
Yes. Okay, so quite interesting. We've got so many stuff, so many things coming. But without wasting time, let me remind our audiences that they can also join in. Of course, you can like, comment. Okay, we'll be reading your comments as well, and share and subscribe so that anytime we come on, you can get a notification and be part of this great program. It's all about information, education, entertainment, and enlightenment. Powerful, super impartation, as truth defies every bias and every propaganda. Okay, so as usual, you are watching Voice of London Television and Voice of London Television channel. You can reach us on www.voltv.co.uk. Also, you can pick us up on our sister station on Voice of London Radio, www.volradio.co.uk. You can also watch us on all the social media handles. That is the YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. It's a super digital opportunity for all to get involved as we bring you credible, trending news, credible interactions, and of course, credible truth and facts. Yes. All right. So let's take our first story because we've got some quite interesting story. The Ivory Coast story is so powerful. Let's start with the Ivory Coast story, right? Those of you who wants to join us, you can join us. And if you want to interact, you can use the phone, the WhatsApp phone number for the television studio to call direct. And that is 07951 580-411, 07951 580-411. And you definitely can be interacting with us. So let's go straight and look at what actually happened this week. Very important with the Ivory Coast issue. And then we look at what is happening to the Kolo Nigeria angle. And then we look at Ghana and other parts of issues happening across the globe. Let's start with Ivory Coast because that's very important. Apparently, there has been a change of government. We all know when he took over power, he's been in power ever since, and people are saying it's a puppet for the West. And apparently, most of the issues taking place in Africa, Ivory Coast has been fingered as the puppet base for the colonial masters to use against other Africans. So this week we had Ouattara has been overthrown from power, amazingly. The jubilation on the streets, the military leader who led the uprising has come to speak as well. It's quite interesting. So I don't know if you guys have got a glimpse of the story from your angle. Have you heard about the news at all about the situation in Ivory Coast? my good learned colleague Eugene. Eugene, have you heard about?
Hello. Hello, Asajafo.
Yes.
Yes.
Have you
So,
heard of the Ivory Coast situation because we borders with Ghana?
I'm not too abreast with the whole news, but what I can say is there's an ongoing evolution, and as a Pan-Africanist, I feel very excited that people are beginning to understand that the Western world's involvement in Africa is gradually going to be of little or no effect at all, looking at 20, 30 years from now, because the reflection of
Yeah.
what is going to happen is what has begun happening. So, in connection to that, I think today was Africa Unites Day, and there was a whole movement. There was a whole movement in Ghana. You see people dressed like Ibrahim Tuareg, or Burkina Faso, and it's amazing. I like the fact that we, the Black people in the continent of Africa, are gradually becoming awakened to the fact that we need leadership without neo-colonial rule. So,
Wow.
in it all, I would say that the evolution of Africa, whereby the United States will actually become the United States of Africa, just as Kwame Nkrumah planned and started initiating by bringing the togetherness of all African states during his era, is beginning to manifest. So what I would say is, let us all be very, very participants in the movement, creating the consciousness and making the African people in and outside the diaspora to understand that when the calling comes for people to come back home to play an accorded role, it should be very, very of essence and first priority to them to
Right.
come and play their role.
That's a good point. There's salient points that you've raised there. Let me go to Queen. Queen, have you heard of the revolution and uprising in Ivory Coast yet?
Oh, me. You know me, I watch this, eh? Me, I was very happy. In fact, I took a bottle of wine because of what is going on now.
Yes.
And the reason why I want to add to what my brother just said now.
Yes.
The reason why I'm so happy about what is going on in Africa now, because we all might be looking at it that oh, it is physical, you understand? But like we used to say, whatever that is physical, whatever that is spiritual is physical, you understand?
Yeah.
Whatever that is physical is spiritual as well.
Yeah.
Whatever that has been written has been written, you understand? And the time we are now is the time, because there is time for everything. There is time for everything. It is the time that the Most High God have written already. That this time is going to have. Even yesterday, I was on my show when I was doing my TikTok, I was talking about it. Because in the book of Job chapter 27, I think so, it was written there that a time shall come that the earth will rise against the heavens. You understand? So the earth is the people, and the heavens are the leaders, wicked leaders of this world. You understand? All our politicians and the Western politicians, I call them Antichrist. I call them Antichrist. So, and what we need to understand, like my brother was saying, that it is the time for African to be united, and those that are in Africa, maybe in Europe, that whenever they call them home, that they have to come back. Surely there's going to be a return. There's going to be a return normally.
Exactly.
There's going to be a return. But let us have it in mind. It's not only returning, it's returning back to the kingdom of God. You understand? We all might return to Africa, fine. But the most important key, that is the main key, is to return back into the kingdom of God. You understand? which has been established in Africa, in the center of the earth, which is in Ghana. I'm in Nigeria, and I'll keep on saying the same thing because this is the vision and the revelation that the Most High God has given unto me. And I'll keep on saying it. I'm not going to change it. So whatever that is going on now, it is the Most High God that is doing the work. It is Most High God. And the first thing that is there that is making me to be angry is that a lot of the Westerners have even come out there begging that, oh, this is what they did to Africa. You understand? But still, most of our people are not ready to wake up. Most of our people are not ready to wake up. Even though they are confessing that this is what they do to African black people, you understand? Our people are they still want to be under their, under their armpits. I'll call it armpits. They still want to be under them. They still want the West to keep on ruling them.
Okay.
It's an awakening time. And we all have to wake up now. Because democracy, like I used to say, will never, there was never a time democracy is going to save Africa. It will never save Africa. Because democracy is antichrist. They can never save Africa, which is from the West. We are people that, like you talk, we are people that govern by kingdom. You understand? Not by democracy. So it can work.
Wow, that was powerful there.
It can work.
Yes, that's actually powerful, very, very powerful. So, Eugene, you were talking about the awareness and how Africans have woken up, especially the youth, the brand Ibrahim Traore, sparking that spark that was awaiting for that spark to be sparked, and he's done the spark, and everything is just kicked in. You mentioned about today being some African Day or awareness. What was it? Was it yesterday or today?
I think it's today because I saw it on the socials today.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So it's not a holiday tomorrow for such an event.
I do not know. It hasn't been announced. It hasn't been announced.
Okay.
But I feel there should be a holiday with regards to anything that involves the celebration of an African unity movement.
Yes.
So the consciousness will come. The awakening has happened. So the consciousness to the awakening would gradually follow in the subsequent years to come.
Powerful. And we've got this lady in Namibia as well. The new Namibian lady president, she's also making an inroad, supporting Ibrahim 100%. And so this movement, this African movement thing, is spiral and actually trickling down the whole of Africa. And it's something that the youth of Africa, or all Africans, are very, because look at the recent announcements that the U.S. Defense Military General made. Got the whole global going on a protest in support of Ibrahim Traore. I was kind of like, wow, this has never happened before. On the streets of London, the streets of Paris, the streets of, it's just amazing. And so it's going to be difficult to quench this particular revolution, because it's like they were waiting for this spark to, and it's something that we are witnessing. We are witnessing a great history and a great shift, So I wonder how you, the youth in Africa, Eugene, yourself as a graduate from the University of Cape Coast, and your colleagues, and as a young man, how are you guys feeling? How is the feeling?
I feel very, very happy. I cannot express how I feel in words, but I am inwardly happy because I now see other people beginning to see the situation in which Africa has found itself after colonial period till now, which is the era of neocolonialism that we still exist in. People do not understand that one of the most essential embodiment of neocolonialism institutions like the IMF and all of that, because it's a power control thing. And if I should give you conditional clauses to helping you in any way or the other, that necessarily means that I'm still in charge. So it is awakening for the youth to understand, and it's supposed to even affect everything, including our educational institutions, on what to study. Because I always tell my age mates or my youthful people like myself that if education is supposed to educate you, or studying or being educated is supposed to educate you to liberate your mind.
Yeah.
And if you cannot liberate your mind, or your environment does not liberate you, you are in a form of prison. So it's an awakening. It's a good thing. It's a good call. Now it's going to serve as a foundation for other African countries to see that for us to move forward, or for us to progressively be united, or be at one front against the Western world. We need to liberate our minds. We need to be able to
Yeah.
understand the fact that your surroundings should make you free. Your surroundings should be a place where you would feel safe. Osagyefo, it's very sad, because if I should tell you the situationship of some of these youth in Ghana, how what they are going through, how there is no jobs, how there are no opportunities. Myself, I am a pure exemplary of what I'm saying. You have to pretend that you are not smart, because as soon as you begin to act like you are smart, there's going to be a sabotage. They would, you were a threat and all of that. They want to put people that they can control, because they are being controlled by neo-colonial powers. So therefore, they also want to put people they can control. If you have a certain form of consciousness, if you have a certain form of thinking, if you have a certain form of mental liberation, they do not want you around, which is very wrong, because I know in the Europes and the Americas and the United Kingdoms that you people find yourself, you people understand that the main concept of education is to liberate your mind. The main concept of being educated is to be able to learn and apply, not learn and become a statue, or not learn and become someone that you cannot be impactful in the society that you find yourself. So
Yeah.
this is the immediate situation the youth of Ghana particularly are going through. It
Yes.
is very sad.
I'm sure it's a reflection of the rest of Africa as well. Same
Exactly.
as in Nigeria, as well.
Exactly.
And I'm sure our Queen Deborah, who frequents Nigeria, will testify to that. Queen, can you hear me?
Yes, I'm here with you.
And it's so, to hear from another youth who's finished university and referencing the plight of the youth across Africa, citing Ghana as an example where he resides. Can you share some light for us regarding from the Nigerian angle?
Yeah, well, once you call one African, once you call one like he said, he's talking about Ghana. Once you call Ghana, or you call Nigeria, or you call Sierra Leone, they are all going through the same thing. It's the same thing all of them are going through. Do you know how many of Nigeria and Ghanaian people, other countries that are dying on top of in the sea? Do you know how many of them that die on the road to Libya? Do you know how many of them that are in Sudan, all in Saudi Arabia, doing prostitution? Even in Dubai there. A lot of them. Because that is what the West and our stupid leaders, that's what they agree on. That you should make your own to suffer. Why their own is better? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense.
Right.
Like I said before,
yeah.
What is written is written. You understand?
Mm.
What is written is written. All this that is going on, Oganana and my brother, all this that is going on now is biblical. Is there. It's in the Bible. So what is written is written. It is the time. It is the time. We're in the right time now.
Yeah. So
It's
let
not
me
that
see.
they are not doing it by their power. They are not doing it by their strength. It is the Most High God that triggered the whole thing.
All right. Let me see if we can get Dr. John Brown to join us. Dr. JB, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Great. Welcome to the show, and we are so grateful to have you.
Yeah, what thank you say?
Yes.
Nice to join you.
Let me give you a win.
Nice to join you.
Yes. I'm going to go to visit by the South African President Ramaphosa to the White House in the US. But before I go there, let me give Doctor an opportunity to also touch on the latest revolution that is taking place, the Ibrahim Traore effect taking place in the Ivory Coast. Doc, have you heard of the Ivory Coast revolution yet?
Yes, I heard of the revolution about 2 days ago, a couple of days ago. But what happened that the Ivorian government immediately shut down internet and communication. So my friends here have been trying to get information from Ivory Coast, but the government has shut down communication. Other sources are indicating that the coup was successful, and other sources are saying that the coup wasn't successful. But I want to get the content, to get the information from the source so we can conclude either the revolution, the uprising was able to succeed or not. But I'll be very grateful if it succeed, because the government in Ivory Coast is actually serving the interests of France and the Western government. It's a puppet government, not serving the interests of people of Cote d'Ivoire. So if the coup succeed, I'll be very grateful, and to serve the interests of Africa as a whole.
Yes. Okay. From our side, we've been picking up some news feeds, which is pointing to the coup being successful, and the former president is to resign or has resigned. But we are yet to confirm all this. And so, and then we also have the leader who came to confirm that they've taken over and that they want the president to come live on live TV and speak the words that he has let the people down, and that he was serving the colonial masters instead of serving the people. So those are some of the news feeds that are coming through. Now let's, I'm sure by in the course of the week, the internet facilities in Cote d'Ivoire will be, resolved. Yes, yeah. And then we can get more solid info. Now let's look at another international news that is pertaining one of the big African presidents, South African President Ramaphosa, went to the US White House, met Trump, and apparently there's a claim of the South Africans trying to create a genocide on the white farmers in South Africa. And so that was also another banter that nearly took place at the White House between Ramaphosa and President Donald Trump. An interesting stories coming through from that girl. And so I don't know if any of you have heard that story.
Of course, yes.
Yes.
Of course. Yes, I have that story, and I've actually also watched the video myself. I think the president of U.S., Trump, is not being honest with the whole situation and trying to take sides, being critical in the judgment. If we talk about genocide, it's his right. On talk about genocide, let's talk about his right. From January to May this year, the government of Israel has killed over 100,000 civilians in Gaza, Palestine. 100,000 people have been killed by the government of Israel in Palestine. And then that's genocide. And the U.S. government, Trump, doesn't see anything wrong with that. But if the people of South Africa want to take over their land, their bona fide property, back for the indigenous of the land. You want to make a necessary noise out of that and criticize the president of South Africa for attacking only the whites. If you are going to recall, in the 1980s, 1990s, okay,
so point taken there, and we are hopeful that Trump can resolve the Palestinian issue there, and also we also hope that the South Africans can live in harmony, and so that we are all human beings, and as human beings, we need to learn to live together as human beings instead of one person trying to boss the other and or bully the others. And I think we need a world where this type of harmony and peace, that we can restore back the post Second World War United Nations mandate. So we can have a multipolar world instead of a unipolar world for peace and tranquility, because humanity comes first. And so I'm hopeful that our leaders across the globe will look at these things, and then we can move on. Let's quickly look at issues that are taking place also at the motherland after taking these two international topics. Let's go back and look at what happened with the communication sector. Let me look at it, because I've got a lot of people saying that the data in Ghana exclusively, and even across Africa, has become so expensive. The MTNs, the telcos, and all those things. And I'm wondering why. I mean, Eugene, you do a lot of communication work. How do Africa find this data and these service providers providing the telephone system and this mobile phone systems and data system for you people to use? I heard it's been very expensive, and Sam George has come under pressure. And
Osachwo, thank you once again for giving me the platform to share my opinion. Data, per my research, unlike America or the UK or other advanced countries, that you make a monthly subscription. That means when you make the monthly subscription, your internet becomes unlimited. It's not like that in Ghana. Ghana is buy as you go, like a prepaid form of service. So if you purchase 20 gigabytes, and you do not use it well, the 20 gigabytes can even finish 10 days less than the 30 days of a month. So that means if you are very, very like myself, if you do anything that involves you being behind a computer most of the time, that means you are going to spend much money buying data. So it's very true. Internet out here is very expensive. And looking at the quality, it's not even a 5G. It's still a 3.4, a 3.54G service that they are providing. So analytically myself, I buy a lot of data. In a month, I probably buy about 50 gig or 50 to 70 gig.
Wow.
Which does not even, yeah.
All
That's
right.
expensive.
Okay.
Yeah.
Godfrey has just joined us, so let's welcome Godfrey. Godfrey, welcome to the show. Let's give you a wave for. it's better late than never. So welcome to the show, Godfrey.
Thank you very much for having me.
Yes. Now, Godfrey, your take on this data thing. We spoke about Ivory Coast earlier on. Just to recap for your attention about the Ivory Coast revolution that is taking place there. And then we also spoke about Ramaphosa visiting the US White House amid allegation of South Africa trying to commit the white farmers genocide. Yeah. What's your take on those things before I go to Dr. JB and then Queen Deborah with regards to the data issue that Eugene has just commented on? What's your take on the data first?
Dana, thank you very much once again. I'm not surprised about the Ivorian, what the Ivorians are doing, because I know something like that will definitely happen. And they were just waiting for, or they were just watching how Burkinabés are going to go through, because all these people are Francophone countries, and they are still under the French. So these people don't have like the way Ghanaians we are having. Like we have the central bank. We can build our own rules and other stuff. Whatever this Francophone like Burkina, Cote d'Ivoire, Mali, and those people, those who speak the French, Nana, they do have this kind of. So I know definitely something like this will one day come to pass, but they are just waiting for the right time. What will definitely happen to the Burkina base? So Nana, I'm not surprised about what is happening in Cote d'Ivoire and other stuff. There are other Francophone countries who are going to also follow, because now these people need a revolution. They don't when me I've been to Cote d'Ivoire around 2010. They don't have this kind of things like the way we have. We can construct our own roads, we can build our own factories and things. Whatever they manufacture or whatever you see over there, just coming from the France. So that's why they are using the CFA currency. They don't even have their own currency. So Nana, I'm not surprised about this thing at all.
Okay. Since you've tackled that one, your take on the Ramaphosa visit, South African president visit to the White House, made Malema saying and warning him not to go, but he went anyway. And South Africa being accused by the White House of white farmers genocide, and so that's become a contention a bit. Have you heard anything about that yet?
And I was just reading from online, and I don't know whether what I saw was the right, because correct, or it was
Anyway,
a good reportage, because I learned Ramaphosa was having hard discussions with Donald Trump. So I was just wondering why, and in fact, and I don't even know why he went there in the first place. But you know, when American leadership like this invites you, then it will be hardly you turn them down. So
But Ibrahim Traore turned them down. So why couldn't Ramaphosa?
Yeah, because Traore knows that when you attend this kind of meetings, it will not end up. There's not going to be a good result, because Traore even went to Russia and other part of this country. But the reason why he wouldn't go to US, because they know these people they want to attack him, or they want him to be eliminated. So definitely, Ibrahim Traore will never put a step to American or any even France. So Nana,
yes.
I don't know.
Okay, let's look at the data. Take the data on before I go to Deborah. The phone data and the phone fees, and then Sam George, who is the sector minister for communication, if I'm not mistaken, coming under a lot of pressure. Your take on that?
Nana, thank you. Minister of Communication for the past, should I say, a month now, has been the hottest seat of this country, because before the general election, that's election 2024, he was all over the media space, lambasting the previous communication minister, that's Tesla Owusu, about high tariffs of data and even poor network service. And according to Minister, that's Sam George, before his power, his party won the election, he was just accusing the minister, telling us that the minister is in the same bed with these telecos. That's why we are having this high data cost and even a poor network service. So people were like, oh, okay. So it means when this man, like Nana, you know how some judges, he's very, very hardcore man. And he always tried to speak his own, like, but for now, for the past 2 months now, he's not saying anything about data issues. So many Ghanaians or good people of this country were asking why the minister is so quiet. Now he's not even talking about anything concerning about whether reducing the data or coming out a good service for this country. And the minister had a press conference and he was just telling us that he cannot reduce data bundle or this telecos tariffs with a twinkling of pen, like penning it down. That's not possible. It's a process. So Ghanaians were asked, so you mean it's a process? Then you decided to lambast the previous minister. So it means you couldn't even work for talk, like the way you were hitting around telling people that our data is too expensive and we are not even having a good quality network service. But now you are telling us it's a process, so we should just wait for the better time. And you cannot even reduce it until the Minister of Finance gives you that kind of approval. So Nana, people were disappointed, calling him all sorts of names, that he should even resign from his position. He cannot work and other stuff. Nana, so that has been the minister's for communication issue. But Nana, concerning whether the data is too expensive or not, Nana, any person or any Ghanaian here will tell you that now our data and our credit is too expensive and it runs off faster than before. The minute or the duration or the megabyte or the gigabyte you used to buy before has been reduced, and the amount too has gone up. So Nana, every Ghanaian is talking about it and very worried why the minister is so quiet and he's not talking or he's not saying anything concerning about the recent data issues. So Nana, Ghanaians are worried. We are just waiting for the minister to come out and give us the reason why still our data is too expensive. And moreover, some benefits previously we are getting, all these benefits are now gone. They have cancelled some of the packages.
Doctor is tired. I can see that doctor is tired. Doctor.
No, I'm with you.
Okay. Queen.
So then at first there was so many packages that you can just purchase, but now most of these packages are no more. And the moment you buy the data, they can just run it for you as they bought it for you. So then a lot of Ghanaians are very worried about this data issue.
Okay. All right. Doc.
Sir.
Do you want to respond to that? And is the data issue?
Yes, the data issue, I'll say something brief about it. The data is actually expensive because you are going to make calculations. At least you spend about 20 cedis on data every day, which is quite alarming, which is quite very significant. 20 cedis a day on data is quite alarming for an average Ghanaian. Taking into consideration the era we are in, which you actually need data to communicate or do anything. That's very expensive. If you go back about 2-3 years ago, it seems the MTN have the lion's share of the market. So based on that, we're able to reduce the data. But the NCA, through the then Minister of Communication, that's also issue, issued a directive that MTN have introduced unfair trade practice, which makes MTN have monopoly. So MTN should also increase their data so that it's going to be at par with the other telecommunication companies, which they did. And then opposition MP, now the minister, Internal Communications, Sam George, was serving on the then Minister of Communications, criticizing her, telling the people of Ghana that if power change hands and NDC come to power, NDC is going to put in policies to reduce data, make it affordable for Ghanaians. John Mama had done very well in terms of the general economic management, but when it comes to data, people are seeing something different from St. George as he promised. He was very vocal, very radical during MPP administration. We are thinking that he's going to introduce that same level of radicalism into his ministry, restore some discipline, work in conjunction with the NCA and the telecom companies and read the data. But you are not seeing that. And data prices are very expensive, and it's something that you can't live with that. Like fuel, you can't live without data. So people are compelled to pay for something expensive, which makes life difficult. So I think Ghanaians and the youth on social media who have been very hard on the social on Sam George, the Minister of Communication. I think they are right. They have a point. So you should work on it.
So, if that is the case, why can't the government come hard on this profit-oriented, companies that only think of their pockets?
Yeah, I think as time goes on, I expect that to be done. And according to the Minister of Communication, it's a tariff or a tax, which was imposed on the telecom companies, and also passed that tax also into the consumers. So the finance minister have to prepare a budget, included in their budget for Parliament to be approved before those levies and taxes on the data can be actually removed. So if Sam George knew this during the first budget presentation, I think you could have done us a good service by communicating with the finance ministry, the cabinet, and all the relevant stakeholders involved, and get this reduced or get those taxes and levies scrapped, which they didn't do, which is actually a concern for most Ghanaians because we cannot do with data at this era in our life.
Yeah. All right. Queen, the lioness. Yes, you'll be quiet for a while.
Yeah, I'm just about Ghana now.
And then this data thing is expensive in Ghana, MTN and all the rest. How is that reflected in Nigeria?
Ghana is so bad, It's so bad that I don't even know what to say I just look at it. That is just the wickedness of the leaders and greed. You understand?
Yeah.
That's what I would just put the whole matter. The Minister of Communication cannot do anything because you have to pay his master. You understand? So they share the money. For example, we are in the Europe here. You understand? When we pay monthly. You understand? And we have full unlimited data. You understand? That we can call, we can talk, we can even do video, everything there. But they did that so that Africa will not be able to voice out a lot. You understand?
Yeah.
If you look, for example, is it Guinea? Guinea, I think they're not even allowed anything like that.
Right.
Guinea, something like that. So they purposely do that. Look at, we talk about lights. You understand?
Yeah.
In Nigeria, maybe 24/7, you will not see lights in Nigeria. You understand? It's better that there is light in Ghana. I remember when I used to come to Ghana when I was in Nigeria, if they want to take off the lights, you understand? If they want to do something in the light, they will just say, yo, 5 minutes, we are offing the meter and we are going to put it back. That means they want to rectify something there. But in Nigeria, it's not like that. They put us in total darkness in Nigeria, in other countries, in total darkness, so that Africa will see the lights. But Africa will see the lights, and we are going to expose all of them.
Okay. Good to see Eugene is back. Thank you so much, Eugene.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Yes, I'm back.
Moving on, let's go to George Godfrey again. So that Godfrey recap some of the news for us, because like Queen Deborah said, anything you say about South Africa, Nigeria, or Ghana reflects across the African continent. And so, like she said, Nigeria, if you see light, you have to thank God. And then Ghana, we understand the doomsday is coming back, or it's not coming back. Before we look at the doomsday issue, let's go to Godfrey to recap some of the, as a reporter, some of the trending news back in the motherland, and then we can merge it and reflect, do an analysis as compared to other African countries. What's the latest? What's trending?
Nana, thank you once again. Nana, one trending story that we are experiencing, or it just happened this week, was our transportation fare. Since the stabilization of our city has caused a lot of, I don't know whether it's a problem or not, because the city is now appreciating and people are calling the government and other institutions and even traders in this country to reduce their goods. But Nana, we are still having it difficult, because they believe the city is still not stabilized as we are seeing it, because they believe maybe when they start reducing it, maybe next month the city will find itself in that position again. So they want to be assured whether the city is now stable before they can start reducing their products. And some are also in the view that their stock is the old stock. They can't reduce it now for because the city is now gaining its strength. So they should reduce their goods and services. So Nana, this is one of the issues. As I was saying, the transportation, the GPRTU came out with a 15% reduction, but these drivers has failed to comply because they believe there are so many other factors that goes into it before any reduction or any decrease in transportation fare. So Nana, the transportation fare is supposed to be reduced 15% yesterday, but as I'm speaking to you right now, Nana, it still remains the same. The drivers has not complied with the directive. They said they are not going to reduce the transportation fares and other stuff. So Nana, this is one of stories that is making the airwaves here. Nana, the other one is concerning the Minister of Foreign Affairs. In fact, he also in the hot seat because of the private jet used by our vice president. And I remember our vice president wasn't feel well. She has to be transported outside to seek for medication. When she was going, she did charter a private jet. And when she was coming to, she came back with the same private jet that people were just asking the foreign affairs minister, because before the election, he was just saying that when NDC come to power, none of appointees, in fact, none of appointees, whether government officials or not, are going to go out with any private jet. When you see any government officials charter any private jet, he is going to resign from his position.
Yeah.
So if people were just calling him to resign, and the minister came out and said When he resigns right now, the country is going to lose because of the nature or because of his job, what he's doing for Mother Ghana. So when he resigns right now, the country is going to lose. And people are saying, what do you mean by what you are saying? Because there are so many people, when you resign, there are so many people going to occupy your position and work even harder than the way you are seeing it. So, Nana, Minister of Foreign Affairs, Samuel Okudzeto Abrakwa, is in the hot seat. In fact, the whole of this week is trending. People are calling him, people are calling the president to sack him from his office because of what he said before the election 2024. So, Nana, this is one of the stories that making an air
let me do. Are you done?
Nana,
the trending?
Nana, let me give you the last one because last week we did a story about the Ghana Immigration Service, removing beggars from the street of Accra. In fact, the Ghana Immigration Service has repatriated almost 925 people in this country. The operation has stopped because, according to them now, they don't have space to contain these people. But they have repatriated 925 people. So, Nana, these are the stories making.
Okay. Nice one, Kofi. Okay, let's take Eugene. Great to have you back. Well done. Eugene, your take on the first, the transportation, and allegedly the drivers don't want to reduce the 15% thing. And then look at the private jets, vice president issue, and the pressure on the foreign minister, and then the clearing of the beggars on the streets. Yes, let's go, Eugene.
Okay, thank you, Osajifo. I'll address the issue of the vice president, Honorable Nana Opoku-Agyemang, who was my vice chancellor when I was in the University of Cape Coast.
Oh, that's good.
Like what Godfrey is saying, a government is run on judicial, executive, and legislative power. So the executive is the topmost, consisting of the president and the vice president, among others. So what they are saying, that is reflecting, that is affecting Honorable Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa. It doesn't hold because the clause that they are standing on is different. He made a vague statement that no government appointee will use private jets or government accessories to travel outside the country. There was no conditional clause to it, except for the fact that it's an issue of medical emergency, or it's an issue of an emergency, which a medical situation is part of that emergency. So if for instance, if the vice president had suffered from a cardiac arrest and was required or mandatory of her to be flown out of the country immediately, and the private jet was the only means, it should be made possible. So therefore, what they are saying regarding that issue doesn't hold to me, and I see it as mere propaganda. Again, with the issue of the fares and the GPRTU, which is the drivers' union and representative of the drivers and their subordinates, initiating a 15% discount that the drivers are failing to oblige to or comply. It's because I feel they are scared. They don't trust the fact that maybe the cedi is now strengthening against the US dollar among other currency pairs. I feel like they want to play safe. What if we're going to reduce the fares and the currency starts picking up all of a sudden? So I feel it is a gradual process, like what my colleague was saying, Godfrey was saying. It needs to go through proceedings. Then they would be reaffirmed and assured that, okay, now it is certain that the cedi has gained its strength, and so therefore fueling of their cars is going to be for instance, 6 months straight, there's not going to be any fuel increase, but rather a decrease in the fuel. So therefore, if they initiate the reduction of the 15% fare,
Yeah.
it would be something that can become substantial with immediate effect for a certain period of time.
Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, that's it. And with the regards to the immigration being able to pick up 920. Godfrey, what did you say? 900 and what?
We are around that figure. Let's say
925.
900. Yeah.
Okay, 925 people that are illegal immigrants that are being prepared for deportation, right?
They have already deported.
They have already been deported. Okay, sure. So we should be mindful of the fact that we also have other Ghanaian people in other African countries. So that when it comes to issues of like border territories on the continent, I feel we have to be very smart. We have to be very smart in such a way that it doesn't go to affect other Africans living in other Ghanaians, living in other African countries. So it's a good initiative because some of these people, they come to Ghana and do a whole lot of stuff, prostitution, fraud, a whole lot of things. So I hope and I wish and I should think it is the people that are probably doing something against the law that they have taken those initiatives against. So Sajifo, that's my take.
Eugene, what the immigration service is saying is that these people are undocumented.
Okay.
They are, as you said, they are illegal migrants. That
Okay.
some are even on the street of Accra begging. So,
but are they
those that you have
affiliated to
received,
crime? Are they affiliated to crime? I want to make a point. Are they affiliated to any form of crime?
no, the service has not come up with anything. But what
Okay,
they
so
said that
therefore,
these people are on the street of Accra begging. So they
okay,
have to
so
remove
therefore,
all these people from the streets.
so therefore, my take on that is, what if they moving to Ghana is a form of refuge for them? If you pick up someone that is a bordering town like Togo to Ghana and the person is begging on the street, or the person finds refuge in being in Ghana, of course the person has not gotten into the country through right immigration proceedings. But you should weigh the pros and the cons of why the person is here. Maybe the person is trying to seek asylum here. The person is trying to find another way of life here, because we are here preaching Pan-Africanism and all of that. And if that movement is supposed to happen, and and we as Africans are trying to liberate ourselves, I feel like association or movement within the African territories or African countries respectively shouldn't have boundaries, shouldn't have immigration proceedings, shouldn't have limitations, or shouldn't have time sequence to how long you can be in a neighboring African country. I don't know if you get what I'm saying, Godfrey.
I get
Yeah.
what you're saying because I know that we are yet to consolidate our economy properly, but I believe that these beggars are Africans, and I believe that we
Exactly.
need to put our houses in order to be able to absorb them well. But I don't believe
Exactly.
in them being illegally removed. As a Pan-African state and leaders of Pan-Africanism, I think the government should rethink their immigration policy.
Exactly.
Look at Ibrahim Traore. In a short time, he's even granted free Medicare to the citizens of Burkinabe, building houses, social housing for the ordinary person. And I think we need to look at such actions. We are all human beings, and we need to start using our populations across the whole of Africa as a positive human resource for the benefit of the continent. Anyway, Doctor, we've lost Doctor, and I think Doctor is going to come back. Dr. JB, can you hear me? I saw him driving earlier on, so probably the network.
Mm-hmm.
Organana.
Honest.
Organana.
Lioness, today you are cool oh, with your glasses. I was thinking.
I was doing something. Ghana, and I'm listening to what everybody's saying.
Yes.
But I want to add to what my brother just said now concerning the immigration.
Yes.
They have to, I think they should do some kind of rethinking.
Yeah.
Come to that, when they come to immigration, but because we should understand that all the people that are Ghana people too, they're in some other African countries.
Yes.
For example, if I want to look at it in Nigeria, there was a community that is only Ghanaians people that are there. You understand? And whatever they are doing, whatever any other African people are doing in Ghana, you understand? They are in Ghana people too are still doing the same thing when we start judging, when we base our judgment on that.
Yes.
Understand? It's not going to be well at all.
Yes.
Be very careful when you come to that area.
I think one of the things
in every African country, there's all kind of crime, there's all kind of beggar, prostitution, it's all over. You understand? So we need to be very careful when we're in that area.
Yes. And I'm also of the view that the immigration service should be rather protecting the borders so that they might not increase migrants. While they fix the economy, then they can allow them in instead of removing those who are already in. You know, this is a very interesting point from that all angles.
If you are thinking, you are that when they fix the country so they can be able to accumulate more, then people will do the same thing. That okay, because our country is not stable yet, we cannot allow them to come in.
Yeah, I think Africa is so rich that nobody should be taken out of any of the parts of the countries that they are in.
Precisely.
For that unity and use the human resource well.
Yeah.
There's 1.4 billion population to rival China and move on. So we'll not be dependent on anybody.
Yeah.
When China and the US had this trade war and the tariff, China was able to stand on its feet. And then the US started to back down. So I think Africa should start building instead of trying to disunite ourselves.
No.
Where we have this Nicolia Machiavelli quotes, his principle, one of his things that popular was divide and rule. You know, divide the people.
Divide and rule.
Exactly.
Divide and rule.
Yes. Machiavelli, yeah. Yes.
They rule you.
All right. So that's quite interesting. I think Doctor is trying to come on. Doc. I think Doctor's network, because I saw him driving earlier, and we wish him well, and we'll see if he can come back on. Okay, so these are quite interesting topics. Let's take the last topic, which is, this is just a brief one. The Supreme Court judge is going to have dinner, and then their pictures are all over. And we are hearing that those that have got a petition against the CJ were also at the same restaurant. And the guy coming out to say that he was hired by the NPP to take those pictures. Quite interesting. Give us a breakdown on that one.
Nana, it wasn't a picture. It was a CCTV footage.
Yes.
So I don't even know what they were doing at the hotel in the first place.
Oh, but they were going to eat. You don't want them to eat.
Nana, I don't think it was eating. It was a meeting.
Because I'm only
it was a meeting. And in fact, Nana, you know, CJ, that's her leadership, Justice Chukwunu Saki, even also stated that he doesn't want one of the committee members. You know, President set a committee, that's 3-member committee, to in fact probe her issue or her case. But he did also come out with that one of the committee members he doesn't want, that's former Auditor General Dom level. You know, I don't know what issues Chief Justice has with Dom level that she doesn't want her to start as a member of the committee, Nana. But as I said, I don't know, because it has also raised an argue and issues here that maybe they were planning how to come out with way to, in fact, whether to remove her or to continue her suspension, because having meeting in the hotel or eating with these people. Now, you know, one of the people who wrote the petition is Baka Bomao. And you know, I think you remember Baka Bomao when he appeared before the parliamentary, the vetting committee at Parliament House. So he's the people who petitioned president to remove the Chief Justice. So Nana asked to what they were doing there, whether eating or meeting, that has raised an issue. People are talking about it. Why these judges just having I don't know whether it's one corner or small corner or secret meeting or so. Nana, so there are a lot of Ghanaians are talking about it.
Yes.
The thing is, you see, whenever every institution emerges power,
yes,
there need to be check and balances of these three organs of government that I made mention of initially.
Yes, you did.
In order for the president to be able to balance his powers within the executive, the judiciary, and the legislature, he has to, or he ought to, put up his people he can work with frequently. So I feel he feels, or he thinks, or his cabinet of people he makes decision with feel that her ladyship Gertrude might be of sabotage to his government in favor of the opposition party. So even if I was the president, I would have done the same thing he's doing, or I would have taken the same initiatives he is taking. And they understand the game. It's either you win or you lose. If you win, you have to go with the people that won with you. If you lose, you have to go with the people that lose with you. So it's pure propaganda. Everybody is trying to do things to favor them in their corner, or everyone is trying to do things to,
Eugene, let me come in here. As I've been saying every time that we are having this program, the removal of Chief Justice or any justice on the bench, that power lies on the bosom of the president. The Constitution give president that power.
The ultimatum
but
power.
Before now, what is making the whole issue and the whole whether president has done the right or is right or wrong, that before you come up of anything, you have to, there's something that the lawyers call a facit prima case. The president has not established any facit prima case to remove the Chief Justice. That's one of why people are just saying that president is wrong. Even the Ghana Bar Association, they also issue a statement, 7-page statement telling president that he's wrong in this case. So he should just establish a private pharmacy case against Chief Justice before he can trigger anything. I know Nana is lawyer, and you know what I'm just talking about.
What I'm hearing from top lawyers in Ghana is that even though the prima facie case is being, that's why the committee has been set to look at it. And then the president has the right to suspend the chief justice.
Exactly.
The chief justice hasn't been sacked. If she is under suspension, she's still entitled to all 36
amenities, everything.
So I don't know. I think
but she cannot work. That's the
But,
she cannot work.
but it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
It's an ongoing. Godfred, it's an ongoing investigation.
Entitled to other benefits, but as to whether you can work, that has been the issue, because before any court case, the chief justice has to appoint whoever sits on any case. Now she's at home.
But because there's an acting chief justice that has taken charge of her initial position. So therefore, she has to go home so that the proceedings of the investigations can take place with immediate effect. So let us not, let us not. You were saying something, Godfrey, and you see, it sounds very contradictory, because if the 1992 constitutional reform states that the president has ultimatum power to eject or appoint a new chief justice, and he's doing that, he does not even necessarily have to even put up a committee that will look into the. His decisions are final. But I just want you to understand that on that case,
before president can go on, you have to, in fact, establish that private pharmacy case against anybody. So the constitution made it clear. Okay.
Anyway, there are other top lawyers that have come out to say the president hasn't done anything wrong.
Exactly.
The woman in the line of duty hasn't been sacked. The suspension. So let's see what transpires. Okay. Queen Deborah, the most powerful woman, the lioness, round up for us. You have 1 minute to run up on this particular program, and then we come to Dr. Godfrey and then Eugene. Okay, Queen, 1 minute for you. What's your advice?
On what?
On this particular segment of the show.
Which topic? What are we saying? What is that?
Of the discussions today, run up your view.
No, the only thing I have to say I just have to go on the communication, and also concerning the private jet that they paid for. That is my own, what I'm going to say in that area. I couldn't find the reason why that they have to take a private jet, you understand? Because we have first class that they can use to go for treatments. But as my brother said, if it has to do with emergency, you understand, there is no problem. But if it's not emergency, there's a first class ticket that they can buy, that they can take the vice president or whoever to London or to France or to America for treatment, in as much we don't have enough medical facilities in Africa.
Okay. Godfrey?
Yeah, Nana.
Yeah. Run up.
Nana, before I'll come out with my last submission, we are all just praying that Ghanaians in Mecca will come back home safely, because earlier hours of today there was an issue of small scary. I don't know. There's no casualty, but I don't know whether it was a fire incident or it was earthquake or something, because people Ghanaians living this hotel, like the hotel is more than 12, and there was so they have started evacuating, coming back home. In fact, these are prayers that they will come back home safe. And this is what I just want to say. But Nana, before, Nana, what I want our leaders, Ghana and African leaders, to know is that they have to have the country at heart. they should rather serve the interest of the people, not their own interest. I think if their own interest, some of them will not even occupy the position they are having. So if you're a leader leading Ghana or even Africa, what I'm just pleading that they should have the people at heart. The interest of the people must be their topmost priority, because when you have the people, the interest of the people at heart, you always come up doing a good work, like what our President Tuare is doing. So Nana, this is what this is what I want to say, that the leaders should have the interest of the people at heart. They should be the top primus than rather serving their own interest. Because when you are serving your own interest, there are so many things that you are not going to do. You are going to do what will benefit you. So this is what, Nana, I'm telling our leaders here in Africa, since we are one continent. Because when Africa starts develop, I think a lot of us will not travel outside.
Yeah.
You will just enjoy what is here, because here, when everything is working here, Nana, Ghana is very, very, very good.
Yeah, but Ibrahim and the Sahel guys are doing it, so it can be done across the whole of Africa. Let's hope.
Yeah, It's because Ibrahim has the interest of the people at heart.
Yes,
that's why he does do all these things. But most of our leaders don't have interest the people at heart. They do whatever they want because they have their paymasters and other stuff. So when your paymaster is ordering you to do anything, you do it. But just have the people at heart, work for the people. And I think the Most High God will reward you at the end.
Okay. Our young and youthful Lieutenant General. Yes.
Why? Is it boy Sabre?
Okay, evening. Let's go.
Osajifo, all I have to say, in addition to everything my colleagues have said so far, is Africa shall rise. And the rise of Africa will be a true reflection of grace and extreme potential. Thank you.
All right. What can I say? It's been a great, great segment and, of course, session as well. I'd like to thank my special guests, Queen Deborah, the Lioness herself, Godfrey reporting from the shores of Accra, and our own very chairman of the youth of the global world, Eugene himself, from the motherland. And we thank you so much, guys. And you know what we have, you guys, the selfless service continue, and we'll mobilize and absolutely bring a change to humanity.
Sure.
So don't forget to continue to log in for the best credible, factual current affairs and Pan-Africanism program across the global world. Coming to you from the city of London. Once again, my name is Nana. We look forward to having you once again.
Bye.
Say, it is well, it is well.